All right, we'll go slash his tires after we're done.
I mean, you can't say that on the radio.
Oh, I'm sorry. We will not
We have
slash
listeners.
his tires.
We have listeners.
We will not put sugar in his gas tank.
Well, people, now we know you can't say you're going to slash someone's tires on the radio.
I don't know, man. I've never been to Derby. Have you? You've been?
No. Mm-mm.
Jacob?
I've only lived here as long as you have, and we've never been together. So.
Jacob, you been to Derby?
You know, surprisingly, I have not. Never Derby or Oaks, so
Yeah.
I'm very shocked.
Yeah. Lucas, you've been to Derby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to watch it, though. I was working Derby for a fundraiser with my high school band. We kept the rich people fed at their buffet tables.
Someone's
okay.
got to do it. I mean,
We watched it from the roof.
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Probably a good spot.
I've been to Churchill Downs for a conference.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yes.
That was really fun.
That was before we ever moved to Louisville.
Yeah, I would never even thought about it. And then there was a horse race,
Yes, there was.
and
I don't know what it was called.
And Mo, my colleague,
Bet on it.
who like is really good at betting. And
I don't remember if he won.
No, I don't know if he won or not, but he was like informing me because he grew up in horse betting. Like,
Oh,
that
yes.
was his thing.
Yes.
And,
So you should probably explain why I'm sitting here and not Jacob.
Oh yeah, so Jacob's at Target.
What?
There's a sale.
No, that's not true.
No, it's a big sale.
Okay.
Yeah. So
No, Jacob is doing work stuff today. And so I'm accompanying
we say Target.
Shawn for the first half of to this Saturday's episode, and then Lucas, our director,
Yes.
our esteemed director, will be pairing up with Shawn for the second half.
Yes, that sounds good. And we thought we were talking about like what, we could talk about a lot of things.
Right.
But we talked about what is it, Women's History Month,
Yes.
which to me is sad that we have to have that. But I also, when I reference famous dyslexic people, it's like Ford, Einstein. You know what I mean?
A lot
Like,
of times. And I think that's maybe what's more sad is that
Yes.
when you, and we'll get into this in a minute, but when you look at lists of just in general famous people with dyslexia, there are a lot more men on that list than there are women.
Right. And I'm concerned by that.
Right. So what we wanted to do today is to honor well-known women with dyslexia because it is Women's History Month in March.
Yes.
So I have a list of some people that we can talk about, if that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds great. Let's talk about them.
And I specifically...
Because I can't name any off the top of my head, and that's really sad.
Well, that's because those lists highlight the men,
Right.
which is a little bit wrong.
Right. It's not a little bit wrong. It's wrong.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what I did intentionally in choosing some women that we might chat about was I wanted to look at kind of a sampling of a variety of women in their careers. So, like, we often say, right, that dyslexic thinkers are super creative, which is entirely true and documented.
Yeah.
But they're creative in different ways, let's say that. And that's what I found interesting in doing some research for this episode. So we have actresses, musicians, authors, athletes. So it kind of runs the gamut, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? Which category?
Oh, let's just go. You have a list.
Yes.
So let's just go from the top.
Okay. Well, I think I'd kind of want to go categorically, if that works for you.
Yeah. No, you're on it. That's how your mind works. I understand that.
Okay. So maybe let's start with actresses because I think Keira Knightley came up last week, right?
Yes. From Pirates.
Yes. And so it's pretty well known that she's a dyslexic thinker.
And very vocal about it.
Yes. And some of these women that we'll talk about have official diagnosis, and so that was beneficial for them, right, in their childhood, like for Jacob, right, in that he was diagnosed when he was young and you weren't.
Right.
And then some of these women do not have official diagnosis, or, and you don't like that word, or
Right. Discovery.
yeah, or they discovered that they were dyslexic later in life.
Yes.
So Keira Knightley actually discovered that she was dyslexic at age 6. So she was really young.
Wow.
And do you know, of course you don't, the age Jacob was when he went through all the tests and stuff?
Probably around the same age.
Maybe the same age?
I mean, if I had to guess. I mean, he had a mom who, like, knew about dyslexia
Right.
and advocated for that.
Right. Well, and because she was in the education
Right.
field,
Yeah, my mom didn't
she
know.
could recognize
She
what
was
going on.
dyslexic.
Right.
Yeah. She was not in the educational system, so.
Yeah, and I think also a good point about Jacob's mom is not just that she was a teacher and could, like, see a difference in her son and other children who, you know, learned like Jacob did, but also she probably had easier access to resources. you know,
Yes.
than obviously your mom in the 70s.
Yes, right. She barely got out of high school.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like most of the people that I researched, Keira Knightley, like, pretty much struggled in school. But I think the triumph for her, it's really compelling for me, is that she kind of really leaned into acting because that wasn't as intimidating, right?
Okay.
As doing the skill-based stuff in school. But what that ended up benefiting her with was reading, like, because you have to read
Right.
scripts, right? And you have to
Yeah.
memorize scripts. And Jacob talked about this last week with memorization and how he goes on stage at TED. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so I thought that was pretty compelling. And it was like one of those happy accidents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for you, you want to talk a little bit about when you, like, were a reporter and, like, you sit down and you have to spell everything correctly. That reminds me a little bit about, like, this happy accident for her.
Right. Yeah. No, being a reporter without spell check before the time of spell check, like, it really helped me with my writing, and it was hard, but it was, like we talked about before, at a 10th grade reading level, you know, so you're not using big words. But that helped me with my, like, there, that kind of stuff, you know, two, you know, that kind of
The
stuff.
homonyms.
Yeah. All the words that sound the same, but they're spelled differently.
Thank you for defining homonyms just now.
Okay. Well, I forgot they were called homonyms, but they were the words that drove me, that gave me concern. I try not to use the word crazy anymore.
No, we don't use that word.
Yeah, that's a trigger word. So those were the terms or the words that were hard for me to distinguish. And having a dictionary helped me.
Yeah, you talk about that you had a dictionary on your desk.
Yeah, I did. A little dictionary.
At the
looked it up.
newspaper.
But yeah, I mean, and I talked about this too, but, like, it doesn't always work. Like, try finding entrepreneur.
When you're dyslexic
and
you don't
you have
even
a
know how to
dictionary.
approach the spelling of it.
Entrepreneur.
So what letter does entrepreneur start with?
A. On.
Very good.
A-N.
Yeah,
Right?
I got you.
That, so, like, you spent all day trying to look up a freaking word on the dictionary. But yeah, so anyway, now we have spell check, and that helps a lot.
Well, even spell check isn't going to fix some of that, right?
Right. No, it messes it up. We talked, yeah. Like,
Or it thinks it's smart, and you're trying to type definitely, and
defiantly.
exactly.
Yeah.
It types defiantly for you.
Yes.
It's like, thank you very much.
I've read that so many
Don't thank
times
you
in
very
paper.
much.
I defiantly like this course. It's like, I don't really think that's what you meant to say.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a big fan of AI writing for us. But
Right.
Anyway, so that was Keira Knightley. Let's move on. How about we go to musicians?
Like, is Cher on there?
Cher is on there.
What?
Yes. So unlike Keira, Cher was not diagnosed.
Okay.
Obviously, kind of like you. She grew up in a period when it wasn't,
Right.
dyslexia wasn't,
She's
like, acknowledged, really.
a few years older than me. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Someone's older
maybe
than
like
Shawn.
2 or 3. Yeah. I don't know.
So she struggled all throughout school, and she actually, I don't know if any of y'all know this, she dropped out of high school.
Really?
Yeah,
I
so she dropped
out.
out at 16th and at 16 in 11th grade. Yeah, so she dropped out.
That's funny because I mean I dropped out 3 times. I think
3 times?
maybe 2. I can't remember. But one time to go to the Amazon, and the other time because I joined a band.
And then it was your principal?
Vice principal,
Who found you?
Ms. Ferguson,
Yes.
who came to my restaurant because I was a cook, and I had health insurance and a good paycheck, and I was like, I'm done. And she was like, come back to school, finish. You're almost done. And now I'm a PhD.
There you go.
It's weird.
Thank you, Miss Ferguson.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Ferguson. She lives in Florida now. We communicate from time to time. I really didn't like her
Why not?
when I was in high school because she was always on my back.
Maybe she cared.
Yeah. Well, I was always getting in fights and, smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. And you weren't allowed to do it. That wasn't allowed.
No.
And so I didn't like her at all until she came to the restaurant and said, come back. So I did. I came back.
I'm glad she did
But
that.
I got suspended so many times. I was a bad student. I was really rebellious. Yeah.
So when did you feel like it really turned around for you? Like school?
In college.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't there was no a buzz and then you have to go to the next room.
Buzz.
You know that many,
You mean the bells?
Yeah.
Okay. Since you're just talking about smoking and getting in fights, I
Oh.
thought you were talking about having a buzz.
No, there was a buzz sound and that meant you had to go to the next room. And I didn't like that at all. In college, I could make my own schedules. They
Yes,
say.
yes. But being hyperactive with the buzz is a totally different thing. That's HSP,
Yes.
hypersensitivity perception.
Yes, and I have that too.
Yes.
But
And maybe that's another show.
we could bore the tar out of people with that show. Yeah.
So anyway, back to Cher. So she actually was officially discovered as a dyslexic thinker at age 30. But obviously, I mean, those are kind of the best years of her life, right?
Yeah. Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, after that point, she just took off for decades in her career, right?
And then Sonny died in a skiing accident.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's still going strong.
She just keeps going.
All right, another musician, Jewel. Me being a child of the 90s, obviously I grew up hearing Jewel on the radio. So actually some similarities with you. So Jewel was undiagnosed or undiscovered as a child, and actually moved around a lot like you did.
Oh, yeah.
And so being at new schools, I think that's another challenge that a
Yes.
hurdle that is any student, any young person growing up is going to have to overcome that. But someone who's a dyslexic thinker having to move and get reaccustomed to a new school, new teachers, and without any sort of diagnosis, you don't have an IEP or anything like that that's
Right.
going to assist you. And so that's kind of her background, which I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
But she's really kind of gone above and beyond. I have a pretty
Oh, sorry.
inspirational quote from her. She said, "I never thought I'd become a writer," which I think is compelling.
They're taking away my water bottle.
Sorry, I was blocking the shot.
Can I?
He'll give it back. Just keep it on that side.
I'll just put it over here.
It's his
Okay,
blankie.
I need this.
It's his special blankie. He's like Linus.
It's my binky.
Okay, but she said, I never thought I'd become a writer, which I think is pretty compelling because she's a musician and she's not heralding that part of her career, but that she has to write in order to be a strong musician. You know what I'm saying? And that's what was something kind of like that happy accident with Keira Knightley. Writing is what helped her see that dyslexia is actually my strength.
Yeah, and that's interesting too because I used to write music, write lyrics because I was in the band in the '90s, and I remember writing my lyrics and not caring how I spelt things.
No, you shouldn't.
But
Because if you
before
stop,
then, though, in the '80s, I was really careful. I'd look words up and make sure I spelt it right.
yeah,
And then in the '90s, I was like, I don't care. and I would purposely misspell things. Like,
And so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who's studied a lot of writing theory. What was the difference in your output from when you would stop and look things up when you were writing versus when you were like, I don't care, I'm just going to misspell things and keep going? So, like, what was the difference in your output?
for the I don't care, it enabled me to be creative.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I know how like, some words I know how to spell, but I was like, oh, I can spell this a different way. So, like, if the word, like, for, I care for you, it would be FOUR.
Right.
And then,
Or it could be
the letter
FORE
U.
if you wanted. Yeah.
yeah, it's like I could just be more creative, and it was
Right.
just liberating. And I remember my fans, when they would look at my lyrics, they would be like, oh, it's really fun to read your lyrics, because you don't spell things the way we've been taught to spell, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's powerful. I see kind of like a chain reaction there, right? In that you were playing with words, but you allowed yourself to play with words. And then that fuels your creative expression. Maybe it even fuels like the amount that you can produce. But then once your fans saw it and read lyrics, like, it spilled over into them as well, you know? And so that's what I really love about being married to you and understanding so much about dyslexic thinking, is that the creativity that you have, and that is just a well that a lot of people don't have, you know? Like, I'm such a straightforward thinker that I can sit down and try to make myself be creative, and I can produce something pretty cool.
No, you do. You write
But-
good poetry.
But
You just submitted one to Leo magazine.
don't talk about that. But
I mean, you've been published.
yes, but I don't think I have the well that you have, so that's pretty cool. One more point about Jewel. She even, and if you don't know about this, she has a youth foundation, and they like have a curriculum of mindfulness, but they also intermix it with, oddly enough, tennis. So yeah, if you want to look up that, it's at Inspiring Children. One more musician before we move on is Florence Welch. Do y'all know Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine?
No.
I do.
Yeah, I like their stuff. A pretty well-known song is Dog Days Are Over. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Is it Dog Days?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she has, and I thought this was interesting because we also talked about this last week. So she is not only a dyslexic thinker, but dyscalculia. How did we say it last week?
Dyscalculia.
No, there's an I in there too.
Dyscalculia.
Yeah, I think you're right, Lucas.
I
So
already edited the hour-long episode.
so both are there, and I think that's something. It kind of goes back to what we were just saying about HSP. To like, it'd be compelling to see how many people who are dyslexic thinkers have another like new way of thinking, or an interesting way of thinking, unique way of thinking and learning. Because she does, and she talks about that before she, obviously, you know, they all say before you made it, she worked in a bar, and one of her managers was mocking her because she couldn't count change. Like, she fumbled in counting change to customers. But I mean, look at now. I mean, over like 20 albums.
Yeah.
That's pretty dang impressive, right?
Someone's winning.
Yeah,
Some people
and
who were
like
helping.
been around since like formed the band in like 08, I think, or something like that. So yeah, go Florence.
Yeah, no, I don't do change at
No?
all.
No.
Nope.
So what happens if you have a yard sale?
I make my daughter do it. Yeah, or I round everything up to $1. I can't find the timer, and I wish Elton was here, but I'm trying to figure out.
We have 9 minutes. We're all good. So those are our musicians that I wanted to highlight. We had Jewel, Cher, and Florence Welch. Let's go back in time.
Okay.
Writer, pretty well known, Agatha Christie.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that Agatha Christie was a dyslexic?
I did not know Agatha was dyslexic.
Really?
Yeah. 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 I mean, it comes up top hits on a lot of searches that I did.
Really?
Yeah.
The greatest detective novel writer.
Right.
of all
Totally.
time.
And As a Woman was the number one bestseller, like when she was writing and publishing. Yeah. Yeah. So she was out. She was beating men when she was, cranking them out.
She's only outsold by the Bible and Shakespeare.
Really? I
That's
did
it.
not know
What?
that.
She's one of the top. Her works after the Bible and Shakespeare are the most published
Wow.
works of all time.
Wow.
I totally did not that. Well, obviously she wasn't going to have an official diagnosis either because she predates you and Sharon.
Right. Well, and when I was a kid, people debated whether dyslexia was really a thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like PTSD in the 90s. Like, does it really exist?
Yeah, I need to, we should look this up, like when it was identified, like, what that date is. Same for PTSD, right? When did people finally start, like
No, this is a
recognizing
thing.
it?
It's not,
And postpartum was like that too.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something I need to, like, kind of dig into more.
There's a paper there.
Yes, of course. It's probably already been written.
So, according to Google, really quick, it says the condition known as dyslexia was first identified by a German physician in 1877, but the term dyslexia was coined by
The OED, Oxford English Dictionary, right?
Rudolf Berlin in 1887.
Okay. And I know that it was first defined in the OED. Yeah. So that's pretty compelling. That's way, way back there.
It is, but it took so long for people to catch
To, like,
on
start
to it.
acknowledging it and recognizing
Like,
it. Yes.
nobody acknowledged it when I was a kid. They're like, you're lazy.
Well, Agatha Christie said that, I gave you a quote from Jewel. Agatha Christie said that writing and spelling was always extremely difficult for her.
And then she writes all these books.
Yeah, and this is interesting as well. She did receive some sort of I don't know if it was medical attention, but her parents were told, like, at best she might start to read at age 8, but she kind of bucked that system and taught herself to read at age 5.
Wow. Yeah, I was reading around age 5.
Yeah.
But slow. Really slow.
And how much did you teach yourself, or did your mom?
My mom did, and she taught me phonics.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah, and that helped, but it was frustrating because we talked about this before. You'd have to read a book in class, and then when you were done with the book, you could go to recess. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to go to recess, but everybody else would go, and I would still be going through the book because I was an honest kid.
Yeah.
I was just trying to really go through the book, and then I wouldn't have recess.
And see, that's a punitive approach to education that it really kind of irks me. It frustrates me.
It frustrated me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I was such a rebellious person in school. I was really rebellious.
Yeah, because you weren't, and again, given at the time things weren't recognized, but you weren't given the opportunities to learn based on your skill set.
Right. And you get frustrated by the system.
Right.
And that's why a lot of dyslexic people end up in jail, because they just get really frustrated and they lash out.
So let's look back then. So let's say if there had been recognition and if there had been a teacher who saw your skill set, what would you have wanted to read? Like, what would have made you excited?
Yeah, for me it was survival manuals.
That's good.
So
why?
My granddad served in Hawaii during World War II, and every airplane had a survival manual. So when they decommissioned airplanes, he would just take the survival manual and the machete and things like that.
He
So
just
there was
kept
like,
it all?
Yeah, he was a hoarder.
He was a hoarder.
And I got my hands on these survival manuals, like how to live on
The ones from World War II from the airplanes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that got me hooked on reading. And I think that's why I went into tech comm.
Well, no, I was about to say that.
that's
Like,
tech
most
comm.
people would think, why is that exciting reading? A manual.
Well, it had pictures.
Oh, okay. Good.
It had pictures and illustrations, and there weren't a lot of words.
Okay.
They're just enough to let you know, like, how to build a fire or how to catch a fish when you're on a float in the Pacific Ocean, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just really was fascinated by it.
So how do you catch a fish when you're on a float in the Pacific Ocean?
Oh, man, it's been too long. I'd probably put a hook in the water.
But if you don't have any bait.
Bit of your finger, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, no, I think I need my fingers.
Well, there's the pinky. You don't really need the pinky. So, anyway.
I won't abide another toe.
Abide another toe. That's a good quote. Yeah, seagull, anything.
Sure.
Anything you can find.
All right, so we have just a few more minutes. One more?
Sure.
Okay. Athlete. Remember I said athlete at the beginning when I was spanning the range of careers?
I've heard of these people called athletes, yes.
What do you think they do?
They do athletic things.
So Simone Biles, I think she's a worthwhile person to discuss because...
She plays hockey?
No, she's a gymnast.
Okay.
She's been in the Olympics.
And she plays hockey.
Okay, maybe she has at one point in her life.
Okay.
I can't attest to that though. But maybe like you and like Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine, she has dyslexia, but also ADHD.
Oh yeah, wow.
And we know that obviously she's become a pretty big spokesperson, like just how mental health is actually a strength. She calls it her superpower.
Oh,
her
cool.
ADHD, she calls it her superpower, which I really love because when the public found out about her special thinking and unique skills, it was because hackers got into her medical records
What?
and published them in 2016. Did you know that?
No, I don't even know who this person is.
You've watched her on the Olympics with me.
I watched a lot of people on the Olympics. There's more than two people
There's more than two people.
on the Olympics.
But anyway, so she's overcome all that, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's pretty like shameful. Like I don't know how many people would kind of rise from that kind of stigma. But she definitely did. And
We got 2 minutes. Okay.
yeah, so she's become a pretty big advocate for mental health. And, like a phoenix, I guess.
Yeah. No, and it's good. I think that's something in our dyslexia world is that more people should be outspoken about it.
Yeah.
Like, this is not some disease. It's not an impairment.
It's your superpower.
Yeah, your superpower, but it does make some things more challenging.
Yeah, but those are opportunities to
But
fight back.
but our the dyslexic brains also, I mean, basically everything, like every big change in the world, you could probably thank for a dyslexic person. I would argue that, and I've done that in this podcast. Like we see the world differently.
And we need to have those viewpoints,
Yes.
or the world wouldn't be as rich as it is.
Right.
You are listening to Dyslexics Untied. Tune in every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. at BellermanRadio.com. That is BellermanRadio.com. Listen to us again on Fridays on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube for a special video edition. Now, on with the show.
Today, Jacob, my co-host, is at Target because there's a big sale. But we have a host. We had my wife, who's amazing. We talked about dyslexic women who are largely ignored by the dyslexic community, and that upsets me. But I also want to talk about like different ways of thinking. And so the obvious choice would be our director, Lucas. How would you identify your way of thinking?
I am autistic. So the actual specific diagnosis is Asperger's syndrome, which honestly, when it comes to autism, it's crazy because there's like no two cases that are
alike.
Right.
And I'm not sure to what degree that is the case with dyslexia, but like I've met, I don't know, maybe at least 10 other people on the spectrum, and like none of us are like completely alike in terms of like the traits that we exhibit. Like it's like even people with the same type of autism that I have, it's all different.
Right. It's like we talked about in the last podcast how we have all these dysplasia and all these different labels. Does that occur with autism?
Yes. So like there's like well, you have like there are like 5 different like categories of it. I don't know all of them, to be honest.
Right.
I know
we're not experts.
Yeah. No. I know that for your class back in undergrad, I actually did like a little info chart of it. So I briefly was an expert on autism. I kind of knew all about like the 5 different types and whatnot, but honestly, I kind of forget a lot of it. But
Right.
I remember that there was like one that only affected women.
Really?
Yeah, and when it comes to women on the spectrum, apparently it affects them differently. Now, whether that's like a neurological reason, or maybe it's social, we don't know, because when it comes to women, going back to the topic of this being International Women's Month.
Yeah.
So when it comes to
Oh, it's a good tie-in.
yeah, exactly. Didn't even plan that. Just kind of happened. So women are kind of expected to kind of have themselves put more together, and unfortunately, because sexist
Yeah. No, I get it.
rhetoric, anytime a woman kind of steps out of line with that, they're just kind of seen as just, well, crazy, which is unfortunate, and it's not fair at all. And
Right.
because of just that automatic, oh, well, they're just crazy, a lot of women don't get diagnosed with like on the spectrum as much. So there's probably more women on the spectrum than we actually have recorded.
Yeah. No, I feel that way with the with our minority community. What's the right word now? Underrepresented
Yes.
community. That they don't have access to the medical people who can say, hey, no, you have this kind of learning
Right.
and you need these kind of things to help you. Right now, and Jacob will back me up, right now, and it's still the same, I think, in a lot of ways, is that people who have the right resources can get the accommodations they need. And it's changing
Constantly.
but it's still frustrating. And for females with your learning, for underrepresented in my learning type,
Yeah.
so
And of course, I'm a man, so I can't really speak
right.
on that behalf, but it is an unfortunate fact when
Yes.
it comes to autism that women are severely underrepresented and identified within the spectrum. So that's a big reason. Like whenever you hear about women being hit differently when it comes to being on the spectrum, it's like we don't know if that's like we just don't know what the source is. Like, is it social? Is it is it the gender? Is it both? We don't know, because there is the stigma that's tied to, well, both actually.
Yeah. Let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
What was it like for you learning to read?
I fought it a lot.
You fought it?
Yeah.
You didn't want to read?
No, not at all. I mean, like,
What was it? What fascinated you as a kid?
into
Just
for what?
like what drove your imagination?
Really, just about anything. Really. So like, the thing about autism is like, I can't hear my own thoughts. I see them.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something, because we've talked a lot about the similarities between dyslexia and autism, but also we talk about like the total contrast between them. Like sometimes some of the traits are similar, some of them are like polar opposites.
Yeah.
for me, I can't hear my thoughts. I see them. So like any thought I had, especially back then, not really like knowing, like not even being identified yet. It was really like every thought I had being an image kind of fascinated me. Like I'm actually remember now, like I would like zone out a lot in class, and I will never forget the first time that, like, I remember I'm sitting in first grade and just kind of thinking, like, because I heard everyone say, like, oh, I would think out loud, and everyone just say in your head, just too loud or like whatever, and I'm just thinking, like, how, like, what does that even mean? And then I kind of realized I'm somewhat kind of speaking silently in my own head, but I would later realize that I was really just kind of whispering silently, just with my mouth shut, kind of. And I would ask people, like, if that's how it is for them, and they would say, no, that's not at all what we do. We just kind of think it, and it's there. I can only read as fast as I can talk, whereas people who are more I guess neurotypical would be reading just flying through they'll actually like just fly through the book. Like it's there's a stark, like very drastic contrast between how fast I can read and how fast that. So I remember when my wife Noelle started reading the Dune book, just flying through it.
Yeah.
Like she was a third of the way through the book on day one. I got through one chapter on day one reading that book.
Right.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So there are some correlations. The visual thinking, I think, is really interesting to me.
How so?
Because Christy will note, like, we have projects that we do at the house. And like building the back deck, I had to make a really unique design to make it work. And I constructed that thing in my head over and over and over again, every bolt. And like, no, that's not going to work. Okay, so how can I do that? And so if you go to my back deck, you'll notice there's no one else that has one like that. But it works for the yard. That's what I wanted. Yeah. But it was one of those things, like you were talking about, like in your head, where you can you see everything, every board, every bolt, and it would keep me up at night because I'd be like, no, it's not gonna, no, that won't work. No, that won't
that
work.
still happens for me.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. And it drives me crazy because I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it not working.
Yeah, and you're like, how do I make that work?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It
Okay.
drives my wife crazy sometimes, actually.
Yeah.
'Cause,
No.
like, sometimes I'll just be obsessing over the problem.
Right.
Like,
And poor Christy, my wife, she'll be like, can you get that done? And I'm like, no, I'm still building it in my head. You know?
yeah.
Are you like that? It's funny.
When it comes to actually writing, like, so I'm writing a movie. That's how it is, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be. I remember last week we were talking about like things that Christy does to help you do your writing. Like she'll give you like a time limit. Like, okay, I'm gonna go out with my friends. You have 2 hours to write. Noelle does like a very similar thing.
Oh yeah.
So I was trying to get her to read my first draft.
Noelle should come here.
Yeah, well, she's at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to work.
Yeah.
Christy's at work right now too.
Oh, okay.
She works
Fair.
online.
Fair. Yeah, no. She works at she is a vet tech, so she has to work at a clinic. So
yeah, you have to actually be there to hold.
You can't
the
do that.
dogs
Yeah,
while
you
they
can't
get
do
their
that.
shots.
It's just how it is. I mean, I guess they haven't figured out how to make vet med online yet. You know, you
I'm
can't
not
just,
giving my dog a shot. I'm just telling you.
Noelle will
They'll bite me.
probably do it. Yeah, I mean, you can ask her after the show. I don't know.
No, they're all vaccinated up. They're good to go.
Okay, good. That's good. You know, that's a different topic. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So what Noelle did was to help me finish my first draft. Was like I kept trying to get her to read it.
Yes.
But it wasn't finished yet. I just wanted to get her thoughts on like It's like, hey, what do you think of the story? And she's like, I'm not reading it, but I want you to read it. So I will read it when you finish it.
Oh,
So that pushed me to
finish it.
finish it because I wanted to get her take on it, like badly. And
Yeah.
she said that, and I finished it. She read it, and she gave me, and she knew how important it was that I get like honest and like just nothing held back feedback.
Right.
and
Right.
She
So
did not hold back.
ripped you apart.
Yeah, first thing she said, I hate your main character.
Oh.
She is horrible. I'm
Okay.
like, oh, okay. Why? And she gave me all these reasons. Like, oh, I didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little similar. Little similar.
So
There.
they say the big difference between people with dyslexia and, can I say spectrum? Is that okay? Or is
Yeah,
that
I mean that's what I
offensive?
say because mostly because I have a stutter and sometimes I can't say autism.
Yeah.
So I just say spectrum.
So autism, it's interacting socially.
Mhm.
So people with dyslexia are really good at like reading a room
I'm not.
and seeing faces and like understanding when people are zoning out or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like if you were talking to me, I can kind of tell pretty quick how you're feeling.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't remember your name. You
I
know what
can.
I mean? I can't.
I will forget your face though.
Unless I see you like 1,000 times. But like I could like, yeah, like I walk through here through the comm building and I'm like depressed, stressed. Like I just, I know like right off the bat. And so I do interact with the students that I work with. Like, hey, how's it going? You're doing good, you know?
Yeah.
Because I care about my students.
Yeah.
I care about all the students here at Bellarmine. But what's that like on the spectrum? Because I know it's hard for you to read faces.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have a few theories on like why that is. Just me personally. So like another thing you'll notice is that we really suck at making eye contact.
Okay.
It does not feel natural to me.
Okay.
I find that if I am forcing myself to look at you, I'm not actually listening to you, even though it looks like I am.
That's interesting.
Because like I'm putting all my effort into looking at you, I'm not actually listening to you. So I just decided to just drop the act and just like I would rather look like I'm not listening than to not actually be listening.
Wow.
And I get that people who just meet me will probably not pick up on the idea like, oh well, he actually is listening, and that's fine because they don't know, they can't tell that I'm autistic just by looking at me, but I can prove right away, yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, so but like really tough for like job interviews and things like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's
Do you have like a strategy that you use?
oh gosh, I mean I've noticed through all the various interviews I've had, a lot of them are kind of the same. So
Okay.
there's kind of a bit of a script to follow there. Not completely. This is not career advice. Not career advice.
No,
but
we're not
yeah,
career advisors.
no, don't. This is how I look at it. I've just noticed a lot of them kind of follow a format. So like, at that point, it actually is kind of easier for me to like force myself to look at them. But if we're talking like a normal conversation that has no precedence at all, then I don't have a script to follow.
Right.
Like if it's like business or whatever, like I've noticed there are scripts, and actually just kind of go to another thing. While I can't read your face to tell if you're sad, I've noticed I can pick up on behavior.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
so
interesting.
if you're acting differently, like I might not be able to tell just by looking at you immediately, but if I say something to you and then you kind of respond differently from how you usually respond under similar like circumstances, then I kind of realize, okay, something's not right here. Something's different. So, but because I can't tell by looking at their face, I mean, I can kind of assume, but it's not perfect.
So you're looking at like body language?
Not body language. I suck at body language. I'm looking at behavior.
So like the things they
explain
do,
this to me.
So the things they do, the way how they respond, like the things they say,
The tonation.
yeah, like how they say it. So if I ask how they're doing, and they're like, oh, pretty good. How about you? Whatever. You know, like, so this clear cut example. So rather than saying, okay, great, how are you? Doing just fine. You know, all that. If they just go, I'm good. Like if we're talking about the same person, one day they're saying like more words and conveying happiness, and then they're just kind of brushing it off.
So
almost.
you can remember that?
Yeah.
I can't.
Everything visual.
Oh,
and
that's
like anything I see. I don't have
really scary, man.
I don't have photographic memory, but anything visual I will remember. Like I will remember. Like if we're texting, I will remember everything you've ever told me. It's not photographic. It's not like a computer, but I will remember details that you share about yourself or just about your day. If you remind me of the conversation, I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember you saying that actually. Or I'll just kind of know it. And like, I won't be able to quote it back to you perfectly, but I remember the detail.
That's interesting.
One of my most useless skills is that if you show me a single frame of any movie that I've seen, it can be the most obscure moment. I will know.
Like Heat?
Maybe not that one. Not that one. For those of you who don't understand that one, a previous episode, this is when they realized how bad I am with remembering faces, probably because I don't make eye contact enough. I didn't realize Val Kilmer was in Heat even a day after we had just watched it. And apparently, Jacob and we both watched it the same day. And then the next day we shoot an episode on Derby Day. And we realized, like, we both realized that we both saw it, we both loved it, and then Jacob starts mentioning Val Kilmer in the movie. And I'm thinking, Val Kilmer wasn't in the movie. That wasn't him. That was some other guy. I don't know his name, but it was him. And then Christy goes on the internet and realizes, no, and actually calls me out.
Well, it's interesting because in the movie Heat, Val Kilmer cuts his hair. Oh yeah?
No, Val Kilmer's not in Heat.
Yeah, he is. No. Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I thought he was.
He's one of the robbers.
I didn't
No,
know.
And he cuts his hair. Does he not?
You're gonna argue with the movie expert?
You should look it up.
I got it.
Someone like we have.
Why are you
people that
making
can-
me be the
You don't need
Googler?
it.
Somebody Google.
Yeah,
I remember not
Christy's on it.
Oh.
You do your shtick, and then you
Val
just.
Kilmer.
It is Val Kilmer. I was right.
How about that?
Yeah,
How about that?
you remembered.
Yeah.
What do you have to say for yourself?
How do you feel?
Yeah, bested by a dyslexic brain.
That should be feel pretty bad.
Well then.
Okay.
Val Kilmer is in the movie. And I didn't recognize him because he cuts his hair in the movie, in the course of the movie. So, yeah. If you cut your hair, I will not recognize you.
Right.
And Jacob did that one time.
Yeah, when he shaved his head.
Shaved his head and went from having no facial hair to facial hair.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was him. I felt a little embarrassed on that day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is a dyslexic thing, but even like the voice of somebody.
I remember voices better
like in
than
cartoons. I'm like, that's a person from that.
Yeah.
That's the person from that. That's the person from that. Are you like that too?
Yeah, I remember voices better than faces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Brendan Fraser. I recognize his voice.
I don't know
before.
names, so I
oh,
don't
he
know.
was the main character in the Mummy movies.
Okay.
Who the f*** are these guys? Priests. Imhotep's priests. All right, then.
He was also in Looney Tunes back in action.
Did you see those Mummy movies? I'm in them more than Brendan Fraser is.
Blast from the Past.
You have very nice ceilings.
Do I? Well, you like ceilings.
Not particularly.
Oh, which one?
The Whale.
The Whale.
The Whale.
I haven't
seen these.
Anyways, well, to me, he has a very distinctive voice.
Who the f*** are these guys?
Did you see those Mummy movies?
You have very nice ceilings.
I recognize his voice before I recognize his face. To me, like his voice is just as recognizable as Morgan Freeman's voice.
Let me get this straight. You think that your client, one of the wealthiest, most powerful men in the world, is secretly a vigilante who spends his nights beating criminals to a pulp with his bare hands. And your plan is to blackmail this person? Good luck.
Everyone knows
okay.
his.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, everyone knows his voice.
Yeah. Are you like that with music?
Yeah. Actually, like especially in the type of music I like to listen to, they like to do a lot of collaborations, and I'll know his voice. I'm like, hey, that sounds like Trevor from 1,000 Foot Krutch, but this is from Ashes to New, wherever, I forget the name of the band. Or like, oh, hey, that's Amy Lee from Evanescence.
Yeah,
I think that's her band. Yeah.
So those are similarities with us too, I think, with our brain's learning style. Like, we'll be listening to the radio, and I'll hear like 2 guitar chords, and I'm like, it's this song.
Yeah.
I just have to hear 2 guitar chords or whatever, or a drum, and I'm like, it's that song. And sometimes I'm wrong because the band ripped off the other band. You know what I mean? Are you like that?
Like Cecilia by Simon Garfunkel.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
a good song.
Love it. But when Shawn Mendes did it with the Vamps, I'm sorry, nothing against Shawn Mendes, but you really butchered that song.
Yeah, it's hard to do. A good song like that is hard to cover.
Yeah, well, also he kept the chorus, but then changed the rest of the song.
Oh,
yeah,
no. Okay.
Yeah, I can't forgive him for that.
No.
Yeah, no. It's
all right. We'll go slash his tires after this. After we're done.
I mean, you can't say that on the radio.
Oh, I'm sorry. We will not
slash his tires. We have listeners.
We will not put sugar in his gas tank.
Well, people, now we know you can't say you're going to slash someone's tires on the radio.
I mean, it's a surfer talk, man. So when you surf someone else's spot and they slash your tires and put sand in your gas tank, I mean, that's kind of the thing.
People so many bad ideas. Do not do these things.
No, don't do them. Those are bad people. They're good surfers, but man, they don't want you surfing their waves, you know.
I guess not.
That's how I grew up. I'm
Dog
sorry.
parks are the same way, apparently.
A little more aggressive than most people, I guess. I don't know. That's why we have a ramen noodle festival tomorrow.
Ooh, ramen noodle festival.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
Ooh.
So.
Didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Noel, if you're listening, we're going tomorrow.
It wasn't until later that Lucas realized there was no ramen noodle festival. It was just an inside joke in the group chat that he does not keep up with.
Yeah, let's go.
Nice. Get some, I don't know. I have a very basic taste for ramen noodles.
Right, you don't like ramen noodles?
No, I love ramen noodles.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I usually go for, like, the most basic kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do the spicy.
They used to call it Oriental, and now they're called soy sauce?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I grew up eating Oriental, which is evil, and I've gone through Lent, and, you know, I'm good now. But, yeah, now I eat soy sauce flavored.
I just go for just the flavor packet of chicken or beef.
No, chicken, no beef.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No.
I'm not a meat person, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'll do a little meat. I'm like,
giving your
5. Okay.
Giving cookouts at your house for like Ted or whatever.
Yeah. No, I cook meat for people.
You make some really good.
Yeah. No, I don't joke around.
You don't. Like when Shawn says he's grilling and he's bringing the flavor.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, and that's a lot of Christy with her marinades and stuff.
It's teamwork.
Yeah.
It's a little teamwork. Yeah.
And then me with my restored green egg from the 60s. I love that thing.
Restored green egg?
Yeah. That's what I grill on.
Oh, okay.
I have like, I don't know. How many other grills do I have?
You probably have 10 or 12.
10 or 12 grills.
It's like you with cameras.
It's like my favorite one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, see, it's not weird.
I mean, I have cameras from
it's
like...
It's not weird.
I have cameras from 100 years ago. They can't be used today.
Right.
It's
no,
like,
I do.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah. I have old cameras, but
they're cool.
I don't use them.
I'm a movie guy. Why wouldn't I have?
I put them on my shelf.
Yeah.
Because they're interesting to look at.
Have like a analog camera, like a folding camera from 1915.
Oh yeah, I've got one of those.
Yeah, an old Kodak. Yeah, that's about as far as the list goes actually. Just the 3.
Okay.
Nothing like your grills.
You've seen my cameras, right?
No.
When's the last time you've been over my house, man?
Oh gosh, maybe it might have been over a year ago.
Oh.
Yeah. Or was it for Ted, or was it for like our celebration, like end of podcast season dinner. I can't remember.
I can't either, man. I'm not good
They were
at that
close
kind
in
of stuff.
time. See, that might be another difference between dyslexia and autism. I can usually pinpoint how long ago something was. Like,
Really?
Yeah, my friends from undergrad have told me how scary it is, how easily I can remember it. Like, oh, that was like 5 years ago on this semester. Like, I could paint out every detail of that memory. Like, right down to the moment when we split the drink and, like, the conversation. Like that's, like, I can, like, tell you every single detail about everything.
Wow, that's an amazing brain. I went to my PhD. I was with 3 other people from my PhD program, and the 2 of them were brilliant for different reasons. But one, his name was Mo Folk, and he could remember every conference we went to, every presentation we went to, and every person on that presentation and what they said.
Yeah, I can do that.
Are you like that?
Yeah. I can't remember every single
I mean, he was like a Jeopardy contestant kind of thing.
Yeah. I can't remember every word they say, but I remember...
No, not every word. But he's oh, yeah. You remember they mispronounced the word, you know.
I'll stick on those little details, too. And, like, it'll be like... To me, it'll be like some great story, and then everyone else will be like, okay. It's like oh, I guess I remember it differently then.
So, last 2 minutes, we've been interacting together for a while.
Yeah, I do as a professor.
What is it about interacting with me that maybe frustrates you? I'm just wondering.
I mean,
as
other
a
than
dyslexic
we just
like totally harass you.
It's a give and take, you know. You harass me, I harass you. It's like it's a give and take. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I think there's more love.
Yeah,
but a little jab every once in a while.
I mean, a lot of the show is just you all just kind of taking shots at me and other Jacob. You know, not co-host Jacob, but assistant director Jacob. But no, I always enjoyed that.
So try to. It's okay to be a little bully.
I wouldn't say bully.
Just a little bully.
You know, some.
Okay,
you know,
what would you
teasing's
say?
okay. Teasing is okay. To an extent, it's okay.
Okay.
What is our takeaway with this? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. What I found is that we have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Even though I think we're totally on the different parts of the human brain.
Yeah. Looks like we have about a minute. Okay, well,
I have no idea.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you. I mean, as always.
Yeah, and hope Jacob gets a good deal at Target.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening to Dyslexics Untied. Tune in live every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on BellarmineRadio.com. That is Saturday morning, 11 a.m. on BellarmineRadio.com. Listen to us again on Fridays on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Also, catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, see you next time.